Hello, welcome back to a new show on the channel that we're calling Nothing Matters. And today, it's basically a show where we're going to watch weird movies and talk about them because no one on YouTube has ever done that before. We wanted to tap an untapped market right over here. And so today we watched a movie called Millionaire Dog. I don't know how to describe this one. I picked it based on the poster. Is a dog.
If you like kids' movies with animal abuse, child abuse, torture, vigorous lovemaking, kidnapping, child slave labor, death threats, vivid descriptions of messy corpses, a couple waking up to find their dead dog in bed with them, a man demanding two people make out in front of him to prove they love each other enough to own a dog, violent car crashes, rampant sexism, and mild homophobia. This is perfect!
All of those things are true.
I don't know what else to say.
Well, let's just walk through the movie. So, first of all, we know it starts off with a very nice animated section that kind of had me worried we're going to watch a good movie. But thankfully that didn't happen. We never learn why Millionaire Dog is a millionaire.
Yeah, the movie starts and he's in his mansion and his butler lawyer is trying to pretend to rob him so that he learns how to stop intruders from stealing his crystal gem dog collar.
Which never comes up again.
That collar never comes back. And yeah, I thought, when you see Millionaire Dog on a poster, you assume you're going to watch a movie about a dog becoming a millionaire.
No.
But the dog's he's already a millionaire. And not his owners. The owners aren't millionaires. He doesn't have owners. He is a millionaire who owns a mansion filled with giant stuffed animals and Lego people for some reason.
Well, we know why it's filled with Lego.
It turns out Lego sponsored this. We found that out in the credits. There's never an in-universe explanation though, and he's rich, and we don't know why.
Well, according to the description on Hulu, he won the lottery, I think.
Did it really say that in the description? It didn't say it in the movie.
Let's check right now.
Yeah, go check that. One of the scenes kind of implied he might have been an actor. No, it just says a pampered pooch discovers that being rich isn't all fun and games when a crooked businessman tries to dog-nap the pooch to steal his newfound fortune. It says newfound, but
it's not newfound. He's clearly had it for a long time.
It's never explained.
Well, he never wears that little tuxedo in the movie.
Yeah, that's very true. That never happens either.
What is the villain's evil plan? Speaking of the
villain's evil plan, as he literally states
several times, he loves talking about it. Just don't even mention it.
He wants to franchise the Millionaire Dog and sell stuffed animals and posters and video games that are all made in Thailand by child slave labor. And he's gonna kidnap the dog to force him to let him do that? And the dog has to sign away the rights to his identity.
And this guy really, really wants these rights. He's willing to kill for it.
So in this universe, dogs aren't dogs, but they're also not like people.
No, I think Pancho is special. Pancho's a special dog.
But no one's ever surprised. Like when he's in the shelter, they put him on kitchen duty to wash the dishes. But it's implied that they do that for all the other dogs too. So dogs can just do everything that people can do, but they can't talk, and they're still owned by humans.
Speaking of dogs being owned by humans,
Let's not get to that part yet.
Let's not get to that part.
Let's not get to that part.
We'll
yet.
save that part for later.
That's its own. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. We
gotta build up to that.
So, the main guy, the butler / lawyer for the millionaire dog.
He's good. He's the best at everything.
Yeah, he's a butler and a lawyer and a spy
and a ninja.
So so a girl he went to law school with and the evil millionaire come to the dog's mansion to ask the dog if they can license the dog for toys. And then the ninja butler lawyer spy says no, because you use child slave labor.
Yes.
And that's pretty much the end of that scene.
But no, the guy's like, I'm gonna get those rights one way or another.
Yeah.
I'm Moltoban. That's why that's a great villain name, Moltoban.
And then later, two men dressed in all black go to his house.
The Spanish Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
We never even mentioned this movie is dubbed in English. It's a Spanish
movie. We should. Yeah, it's a Spanish movie dubbed in English. I think the Spanish title is Pancho El Perro Millionero.
Yes. Because the dog's name is... Did we mention the dog's name?
The dog's name is Pancho.
Well, we'll call him Millionaire Dog because that's more fun.
So they try to kidnap the dog and the man, and it's implied that they're gonna torture them because they have all of these like wrenches and stuff, but then they just kind of take them with them to this.
No, what happened was they were going to torture them, but then the guy...
That's right,
since the guy's the best at everything, he escaped.
He immediately escaped without saying, oh, we should mention. So in most movies, if there's a scene where there's like something happening that's important, the movie will show you as the audience that important thing happening.
But Millionaire Dog breaks new ground.
Millionaire Dog doesn't do that. At one point, we thought there was something wrong with the TV.
And this was right at the beginning.
This was at the beginning of the movie.
This is like the first 5 minutes
of
the movie.
There's a 45-second shot that's just blacked out.
They forgot to shoot that part, I guess.
And then later in the movie, whenever there's like a scene where someone would do something that would require any sort of budget, they just don't show it and they just cut to it already having been done.
Yeah, like there's a scene. The guy, the butler guy, he's going to fight them. He like has a broom. He snaps it in half and has a bow staff now. And we're like, okay, he's gonna fight this guy. Then they cut away to Millionaire Dog doing something stupid. And when they cut back, he's already beaten the guy up.
So after they escape the two henchmen, the Millionaire Dog runs away and he loses his collar. So
he runs away so Moltoban cannot kidnap him and force him to sign a licensing agreement.
Yes. And then he gets found by a dog pound.
He gets found by insane Peter Capaldi.
And he makes the dogs go through rigorous training to learn how to be better dogs.
He's my favorite character in the movie. I love this guy.
He's great. He makes them do things like learn karate? Was that what he was trying to... It shows him trying to teach, but it doesn't ever show...
He just kind of was a drill instructor.
Yeah, he's like a drill sergeant for dogs, but then... So people come in to adopt these dogs, and he gives them, like, really intense questioning.
Like, they have to earn the right...
They have to earn the right to adopt. So, like... Well, we should talk about the other plot that's happening first.
Oh, wait, I forgot to mention this guy's signature move. We can't forget to mention his signature move,
Yeah, he just does that like 5
sometimes.
Times. It's never explained.
I want that on a t-shirt. If someone can make a t-shirt of just a picture of that guy making that pose, I would appreciate that. Anyway, what plot were you talking about?
So, ninja butler spy lawyer and
His
girl from his college that he doesn't like but obviously likes.
Yeah.
She meets up with him and says she wants to help him because she researched the company she was working with and found out they really do child labor. So they team up to go look for the dog, but they won't call the police because Ninja Butler Lawyer Spy says it's his responsibility.
Yeah, he's too proud. He's too proud to call the police until the very end of the movie when they've already caught the bad guys.
So while they're off looking for Poncho, Poncho is being adopted by a couple who's going through very intense questioning about whether they have any bad habits. So, the guy asks them if they do drugs or drink in this kid's movie, and they say no. And then there's a really funny scene where he says his vice is leaving the water on while he brushes his teeth, and the wife freaks out. But then he's like, oh, that's all right. You can adopt the dog. So they do. And then they go to the house, and the couple's like, hey, you should meet our other dog. And there's a dog facing the TV in the back of the room. And I said...
Well, my thought was that it was going to be his love interest, but you had to do it.
I as a joke, said, the dog's going to be dead. And then it was!
It was this horrifying corpse with black eyes just staring at nothing.
It was their old dead dog stuffed, but, it had the most horrific expression. And, they made the dog sleep next to it. When they ate meals, they sat it at the table with them and made a plate for it. And it just stared the whole time.
I thought the implication was that they thought it was still alive, but no, they say, you can stay with us as long as you want until you go to join Fluffy. And then they laugh maniacally. So they know it's dead, and yet they treat it like it's an alive dog.
The movie's called Millionaire Dog. I didn't expect this to be part of it.
It has family in the categories on Hulu.
And comedy.
I mean, it tried to do that.
There were many times during this movie where I exclaimed, who is this movie for?
We determined it was for horny children.
Horny, disturbed children.
We'll get to the horny part in a bit. Let's keep going down the line of all of the people who adopted Poncho.
Well, remember, it's edited weird so that we go back to. I mean, I guess not weird. It's edited pretty normally, so we go back
the story is weird.
We go back to Spy Ninja Lawyer Butler Man, and he and his not girlfriend. They get kidnapped by the guys in suits again.
First, we have to bring up how she sexually assaulted him. He gets knocked out by the guys in suits. He falls asleep.
Oh, yeah.
He falls asleep.
They're looking for the dog. Yeah, they're looking for the dog for a really long time. They won't call the cops because of pride, I guess, and because it's their responsibility. And then he falls asleep eating soup, so she's like, hey,
he falls asleep doing push-ups.
Well, no, first he falls asleep eating soup, and she's like, hey, silly, you gotta wake up. And then he's like, I'm super awake, look, I can do push-ups. And then he does 3 push-ups and falls asleep. And then he wakes up in a hotel room naked.
And she's
naked. And he's like, what happened? And she's like, hey, silly, you fell asleep, so I took you back to our hotel and undressed you, and then got undressed, and then we slept in the same bed.
And she acts like he's the weird one for being freaked out about this.
And then they get kidnapped.
This is a kid's movie.
And then the people who kidnap them, which is the guys, the Spanish Blues Brothers and the other guy, the big baddie. Yes, him. They talk to them about how they're going to kill them in multiple ways. And they talk to them about how they shouldn't try to escape because the last time someone tried to escape through the window, it was really messy and they had to clean it up.
In a kid's movie. They went into graphic detail, like the guts, the brains, the teeth.
And then they locked them both in separate rooms, but the room has a magical wall that rotates if you pull on a dog's tail.
It's a Resident Evil mansion where we're gonna lock you up, but we're gonna put a fun little puzzle in there. So if you solve it, you can get out of there. And And then, so he tries to, you're just completely dead inside right now. So he tries to, he tells a girlfriend woman that they have to escape. And she's like, but I need to get dressed.
And then there's a funny fast forward to him waiting. He's been waiting a long time because you know women and how they take forever to get dressed and do their hair when they have to escape.
Bitches be tripping, am I right, fellas?
And then she's dressed in pink for some reason. So
when they're
going down the window
attempt.
in the rope, they it's very easy to see them. I don't know why.
In their daring escape attempt, she decided to wear bright pink and white high heels. And then then let's cut back to Millionaire Dog.
Then they
What's
go
he
back
doing?
to Millionaire Dog, and he's sleeping next to the dead dog. So he's like, this is freaky. So we see him drag the dead dog out of the room.
And we just assumed that it was because, he didn't want to look at the
Then he goes back to
dead
his
dog
bed and goes to bed. But then it cuts to his owners waking up. There's something in the bed with them, and they lift up the covers, and it's the dead dog. And then they scream a lot. And
For
then they
some
bring him...
reason, why are they so freaked out about it? They live with this. They eat dinner with this thing every day. Why are they freaked out to see it in their bed? I mean, I guess it would be a little bit startling, I didn't put that there, but it's not like an, oh my god, what is this moment? It's not like he decapitated the thing. It was a clear Godfather reference, but it's not like he decapitated the thing like they do in Godfather. It's just, the dog is there.
In a kid's movie!
Yes.
So then...
his next house...
Well, they bring him back to the pound... And then the guy asks two more people a bunch of weird personal questions, and they adopt him, but then it turns out they're vegans. So he doesn't want to live with them, so what he does is he raids their fridge and makes himself an omelet. Because all vegans have eggs in their fridge.
And then he makes himself a sandwich
with ham and bacon and cheese from their fridge.
In the vegan's fridge.
But then he made the kitchen really messy while he was chopping vegetables with a knife, which apparently dogs can do in this universe. And then...
I moved past that a long time.
Then he goes back to the pound, and then they dress him up as Hannibal Lecter because he's a crazy... Oh, no, that's not yet.
There's a couple more, I think.
First they take him to another house, and he floods it.
See,
and then they... So, at the first three houses...
First two houses. Not even the first three.
Well, so there's an evolution of what happens to have Millionaire Dog not have an owner anymore. So at the first house, the owners are insane people who have a crazy stuffed dead dog that they keep making the dog interact with. So he escapes, which is good, because they're crazy. And then the second people...
That's the part where we're like,
the second people, they're vegans, so they're feeding the dog food that the dog shouldn't be eating.
Wait, so again, it's a good thing that he got
So it's like, okay. And then at the third one, he's just like, you, I'm going to flood your house.
Millionaire Dog murders a cat, and so he just gets
So then he goes back to the pound.
More of a dick.
And then the pound owner dresses him as Hannibal Lecter. And for some reason, and puts him behind glass.
And so another family comes in, and they're like, we want to adopt this dog, and Peter Capaldi is basically saying, no, don't do that, he's insane, he's evil, and I think we'll adopt him. And
then they bring it to their kid.
His dog died, and so they're
he wants a new dog.
No, he doesn't want a new dog, they want him to have a new dog.
Because they say the therapist said they should immediately get a new dog to fill the void, which is definitely
not
real therapy
not
and what would be recommended in that situation. But anyway, back to our romantic.
I forget what the girl's name is. I remember
his name. Alberto. I thought you said Roberto.
No, Alberto.
Here, you hold this for now. So now they're still together doing stuff. I don't remember what stuff.
There's a montage of her trying on dresses for some
reason. They're trying clothes on.
And she tries on a really short dress. This is a kid's movie, and that's right there.
Yeah, it's filmed in a really creepy and perverted way.
Yeah,
But that's just.
I guess
that's Millionaire Dog.
Is this just Millionaire Dog, or is this because this is a Spanish movie, so is this our American sensibilities clashing with their Spanish
There were a
sensibilities.
few things where I thought maybe, but like when you have just like people waking up to find corpses of their old pets in their beds with them, or like people threatening to torture dogs by ripping their teeth out, or like
Okay, story.
child slave labor, I think that's pretty universally frowned upon.
Yeah, but I mean, that was supposed to be seen as a bad thing. Except for the catapulting a cat, I guess that was...
The
Hooray.
dog, but like, torture's a bad thing, but
Yeah.
like, most kids' movies don't have a villain that's gonna torture someone because they don't want torture in their kids' movie.
They do have villains who want to torture them. The problem is they don't show the tools that intricately.
They don't imply that, like,
Because they go into
It's not to
graphic
this
detail
level.
when describing it. Like, he talks about
like
dismembering
in
her.
The Incredibles, they might, like, trap the family and the kids, but they don't show, what's the guy's name?
Syndrome.
They don't show Syndrome pick up, like, a hammer and, like, go at someone's kneecap.
Yeah.
Or, like, take a drill and, like, point it at someone's eyeball. There's a scene in this movie where someone points a gun at a man holding a dog and says, "I'm going to kill you and let your dog die so that I can exploit child slave labor."
Yeah, the villain,
He literally says that. It's not even just implied. He flat out states, "I'm doing this so I can have slave labor happen."
The villain loves talking about child slave labor any chance he can. Like, just talk about it. He'll go on a long 5-minute rant about how much he loves child slave labor. Like, he does that like
Yup.
5 times in this movie.
So now, it's like nothing else important happens. The family's with the dog, and
And
the kid...
the kid has like the movie becomes very
First the kid's
stale.
like, "I don't like the dog," but then the dog plays video games with him.
And then he likes the dog, and then he doesn't like the
Picks
dog.
up a controller
again.
and plays video games with him. Then he likes the dog, but then he doesn't like the dog. But then they play pirate, so he likes the dog because...
The dog helps
well,
him meet the girl he likes.
Yeah, he's into a girl, so he goes to a park.
Yeah, the movie becomes
He
very,
sees her, and
very
then she
stale
has
and
a dog.
formulaic after.
And then the
this.
dog escapes and runs up to her with a flower. And
the
she's
girl-
like, "Is this your dog?" And he's like, "Maybe." And she's like, "Well, when you figure out, you should tell your dog not to pick flowers, because even though they can't talk, they can feel pain." And then that's just never addressed again. But
Apparently she's poison ivy.
yeah.
Let's see, what else? What are weird... Like I said, this movie is pretty stale. Oh, Peter Capaldi forces girlfriend man and lady to make out.
Yeah, so ninja lawyer spy butler, he and his non-love interest, who is a love interest, they go to adopt a dog from the guy to see if they have Poncho there. And so the guy's like, "Oh, so how long have you been married?" And they're like, 5 years. And he's like, "Oh, cool, I bet you love each other. Make out to prove that you have enough love to also give love to the dog." But then they can't because they don't like each other.
And so he...
So they just kind of put their noses against each other. But then in the next scene, they make out because they love each other.
Yeah, they make out no problem in the next scene. Like, with no prompting. Like, here's what... They break into the dog pound as their plan B, even though he's not there anymore. But no, they find his information, so it's fine. But they break into the dog pound, and she's like looking at the computer for information, and he's like, "What's taking so long?" And he runs over. She's checking Facebook.
Yeah,
Women.
she's like, "Oh, I
Am I right,
I haven't
fellas?
checked Facebook in days." It's a really sexist movie. It's
But-
just for no reason, really.
And then, like, after that, they find out where Poncho is, and then they just make out. The implication is they have sex, but they can't. The millionaire dog has some restraint.
See, they can't show, but why? Because they've shown us so many terrible things.
They've shown us
The
dead
zombie,
dogs.
the dead dog thing with the horrible face frozen in agony.
They've described.
That's way worse.
He does say he wants to shower with her. I mean, that's like a funny, like, oops, Freudian slip, but still, he says it.
If you want to give up, be my guest.
I don't want to give up. I want to shower.
You don't think I want to shower with you?
Yeah, that happens in this kids movie. Again, I don't know who the target audience is.
Horny children. But
disturbed children.
What other weird things happen? Oh, the bad guys come back to Pancho's house, and because the kid Pablo, he takes Pancho back there because he somehow lives
and
there.
then there's a really funny scene where the two bad guys kidnap the kid and the dog, and while they're talking about how they're going to brutally murder both of them, they keep forgetting Pablo's name, and Pablo keeps having to remind them. And it's really funny because he'll be like, yeah, we're going to like, once we're done with you, well, first of all, I'm not sure if they're talking about like child rape or murder, but they're like, when we're done with you, they won't be able to tell you from a potato chip, which I don't know what that means. Maybe he'll be a little pile of dust, but then when they're like, oh, we're going to brutally murder you, what's your name again? And he's like, Pablo, I told you it's Pablo. It's not that hard. And it's really goofy because they keep forgetting the name of the kid they're about to kill.
And but before this happens, they kidnap Pancho and he takes them to his vault that has a bunch of Egyptian gold.
Oh yeah, he has a secret vault full of gold.
Full of Egyptian gold, and that never comes back again. That just kind of happens.
Yeah.
It's never referenced again.
So now they're going to rob the dog, too. They don't just want the merchandise. They're robbing a dog's mansion.
They rob the millionaire dog, and to stop the bad guys...
How did he become a millionaire?
He has
Egyptian They won't tell us!
But in order to stop the bad guys, first of all, Pancho tricks them into exploding with a funny Looney Tunes bomb explosion.
Oh, yeah, and then the kid picks his nose and puts it in a gun, which turns it into magical,
At this point, the movie was just pulling stuff out of its ass. And he was like,
so then he shoots him with a booger ray.
Power.
Yeah, and then there's this gun that just magically
appears,
and
it's never referenced.
It has a nuclear reaction with boogers, so it turns it into like a booger gun that shoots green slime at people, and then they trap them. The bad guys get stuck. They stick them on a merry-go-round, and then suddenly Butler Ninja Man guy, lawyer, and girl are back, and they're like, "Hey, don't beat the bad guys without us. That's not safe." And the kid's like, "F*** you. We did all the work." Which isn't actually what happens, but it's what he should have said. And the wife's like, or the girl, she's like, "Hey, come on, they did a good job." And then they find the big bad guy, the really bad guy, because they're looking for him.
She tricks him. No, she double crosses.
They get to the bad guy. She knocks Ninja Butler Man out because she's really evil, but then she's really not evil because she's actually recording the really evil guy so that she can turn him in.
On one of his many rants about his love for child slave labor.
Yeah, he literally uses I think the exact line was, I think it was like, you're gonna sit and watch as I exploit your dog for child slave labor, and then you're gonna die, and then when I'm done with your dog, I'm gonna leave him at a gas station and he's gonna die too.
From tomorrow, Pancho will be owned by me. All of his money will be invested in a new illegal toy factory in Southeast Asia. And when I'm bored of selling millions of Pancho dolls, I'll leave him in a gas station, and I'll look for another stupid animal to make me even richer. That's the reason for your death. So I can have children working as slaves, and your pooch can die by the wayside.
And then so she records it.
He's the evilest guy. He loves evil.
She
So
punches him.
At this point, there's several moments where they could have easily stopped him. They knock him out, and then they walk away, and
he's back.
He sneaks up on them with a sword, and then Alberto, he's like, "But I have a gun." And so it's like, okay, movie's over.
And then he's like, okay, he wins. But then he throws the gun away so he can pick up a sword and sword fight. But then while they're sword fighting, the dog runs by and trips him on the stairs.
No, they sword fight, and Alberto has him dead to rights again. And they're like, okay, now the movie's over. And then Pancho, being a little shit, he runs through, knocks out
Pancho's a asshole.
Yeah, because they could have beaten.
At first, I felt bad for him. He was just he was just like
a poor millionaire.
millionaire dog, just an innocent affluent dog that didn't want to live with a corpse, but now he's just like killing cats and f***ing up people's plans.
Because he had to be the hero.
So
he
then,
had his own.
Then there's all of a sudden a random bigger dog, and he taunts him.
that was foreshadowed earlier in the movie. Maltoban, and for like one
Oh,
frame,
yeah.
Maltoban was like,
So
I have this
he taunts
dog.
the dog with like a bone, so then he gets on the dog and he's wearing a knight helmet and he jousts and he runs over and gets the guy and knocks him over or something. It's
Yeah.
all a blur now.
He knocks him into the fireplace, and that's it. They arrest him, and he goes to jail. And the movie ends with Pancho goes to live with the kid because he learns it's better to be with loved ones than to be with money.
And then the weird dog trainer guy whose only interaction with these people was forcing them to make out in front of them and then throwing them out of the
Out of
kennel?
his pound.
He moves in with them along with all the dogs so he can train them, and then
In
it's
a
just
mansion.
and then it's done. And then there's an after credits scene.
Yeah.
Or actually an immediate during the credits
Setting
scene
up a sequel.
where big bad guy has broken out of
Maltoban.
jail Shawshank Redemption style
And so,
by digging a hole behind a poster of Millionaire Dog.
So
and then the poster winks. And
get
then it
ready
ends.
for Millionaire Dog 2, Maltoban's Revenge. And that's Millionaire.
Who is this movie for?
Is that all we have to say about Millionaire Dog? That might be. Elliot is broken. This movie broke him. Poor man. Let's go watch a different movie. Let me hold on. I'm gonna cut this part out. Let me workshop some outros for this show. This has been Nothing Matters. Stay hydrated. Okay, let's try some other ideas. This has been Nothing Matters. You can diddle yourself, but don't diddle kids. Drive safe.
Let's just keep all of this in.
Okay, let's try one more outro.
Yeah, but don't edit any of this.
Okay, this has been Nothing Matters. Go fuck yourself. The end.
I like that one. This is Nothing Matters. Go